Yeah, America can't break this up. Don't tempt me with a good time. Please do not tempt me with a good time. Because the next opportunity that I get to break you two up, I'm taking it. Hey y'all, it's your girl Pretty Lynn, and this is Pretty Lynn Sovereignty. And then today on What's the Reality TV, we are going to get into Love Island Season 8, Episode 13. When I tell you, this episode was just filled with disappointment. But let's get into it, child. Let's get into it. So it starts off with Anaya and Trinity having a chat. Anaya's pretty much going off about how she feels about Casey. And she was pretty much explaining to Trinity about the results of their conversation that they had again for the 20th time, the same conversation over and over again. And I was just like, Casey, you better watch out because Anaya was doing a lot of. I was like, oh, my girl might be a fighter. Watch out, Casey, watch out. And then Casey was having a three-way conversation with the heated rivalry couple. Um, if you don't know who that is Zach and Bryce. And I'm just like, I don't know if I trust people talking about their connections to these two because I feel like they have ulterior motives. And I don't really trust it all the way. So I'm just like, here we go again. Then Zach is going to be planting small things in your ear. And then next thing you know, it's going to cause more problems for your match, per usual. And I'm just like, Casey, you need to watch out because they see you as competition and threats to their matches. So be careful with what you're sharing with them. Like, yeah, it's supposed to be like, brotherhood is done a third. But at the end of the day, like, I see through Zach. And I just feel like he has ulterior motives and he's in it to win it. And then I was just mainly confused with Casey and Anaya's like issue that they were having. Cause like I thought or I felt like the scenes that we saw that they were like, communicating and getting it figured out. But it just seemed like it wasn't getting figured out. They were just miscommunicating with each other. Maybe they weren't just because I'm just like, y'all are communicating. Like, what's the issue? I'm just like, y'all are just not comprehending where each other's coming from. So I'm just like, I don't know. Like I was just like I was utterly confused. I'm like, where is all of this energy coming from? I thought y'all were getting it figured out. So y'all didn't get it figured out? Like what's going on? Are we missing some parts of y'all's conversation? Like I was just really confused on what's going on. Then we see Jen talking to Caleb. Caleb pretty much pulled her for a chat so they can have bombshell conversations or whatever. And I was just like, here goes Jen, filling Caleb's head up with delusion, knowing that her fellow blonde friend does not want this man. But instead of like being more realistic with him, you're filling his head up with delusion. And then we see the heated rivalry couple, aka Zach and Bryce, having a conversation. Zach was kind of talking about him and Kata being in the hideaway, and he wonders if that's going to make things a little sticky now that they already went to the hideaway together. And then Bryce was explaining to Zach how he really thinks that Trinity is feeling him, but he's kind of going through the same thing. He doesn't want to move too fast or do things too quickly, because he doesn't want it to become like a sticky situation. And then he was saying something about how like they were close to doing some stuff but he had to stop it. I wonder why. And then they pan the camera over to the ladies in the changing room, and it's Mel and Kayla, and they're having a conversation. And pretty much Mel was like, "Hey, like, can you keep a secret?" Sincere, he had pulled me for a chat in the speakeasy, and he pretty much told me that he misses me and he still thinks about me and he still wants to work on this connection. And she pretty much told Kayla like, "Please don't tell anybody. Please keep this as a secret." I'm just like, hmm. Find it funny how she decided to share the secret with Kata and not Anaya. I'm just like, yeah, I kind of see why because Anaya she doesn't really know how to. hold her tongue that much. And I'm pretty sure people in the villa are aware of that, which is why she chose to share that with Kata and not with Anaya. Then, of course, the camera pans over to everybody, in the bed with their current couple, and everybody was getting active except for one couple, which is Casey and Anaya. But one couple did get extra, extra, extra connected, like literally connected. And of course, Gabrielle and Jen. And then the next morning, the ladies were just like, "Oh, so what happened last night?" And she just said, "Honestly, I don't even know what happened." I'm just like, very on brand. And I will choose to not further explain what I mean by that. But I did notice how, Kenzie, Jen, and Soul, they were having like a three-way conversation or whatever. And then when Soul had got up, Kenzie had went, she scooted up closer to Jen. She was telling Jen like, "Hey, I kind of want to tell you a secret. I didn't really trust to, tell Soul about it, but me and Corbin made out in the bedroom yesterday when we had our conversation, and I didn't really trust to tell Soul that, and I just only wanted to tell you that because you're my girl." And she was like, "Yeah, I love you," and I'm just like, okay. I see why you choose to only tell Jen about your conniving ways. And then, of course, Sincere is having a conversation. I forget with who he was having the conversation with, but they were asking him about I think it was probably Zach. But they were asking him about his connections with the two ladies. He still on the same type of fence where he's 50-50, 50-50, 50-50. Honestly, they're both, amazing, for different ways, yada, yada, yada. And like, he just always says he's just 50-50. And I'm just like, I don't know. Is monogamy not like your thing? That's just, I don't know. I'm just like, Sincere, maybe monogamy is just not your thing. Because like, I just don't like the way you're moving. Like, I don't know. I don't know. And then throughout this episode, when they were both not annoying me, I was just like, I kind of like Corbin and Melanie's dynamic together. Like, I don't know, am I weird for thinking that? Like, I feel like I like the side that Corbin brings out of Melanie, and I like the side that Melanie brings out of Corbin. I'm just like, I don't mind it. And then I'm just gonna skip all the extra stuff that don't matter, aka Kinsey scenes. But Trinity ends up getting a text about the recoupling that's gonna take place tonight. And the text also explains that pretty much the Islanders are gonna have to write love letters to the person they want to couple up with. And then of course you hear Zach say, "Oh, can I choose Bryce?" I don't think you're joking. I think you really want to choose Bryce, but this is the wrong show for that. But I think you really do want to choose him. Maybe outside of the villa, you guys can really confess your feelings for each other and be out in the open about it. Hopefully. And then the ladies are like, "Oh, where's Chat GPT when we need it?" I'm like, he's right there across the villa. That tall, light skinned Japan nigga from Miami, he right there. There go your Chat GPT. There he goes. Like, and then of course, after everybody's done writing their letter, Ariana comes out and she announces, the obstacles of this challenge or recoupling again. Everybody has to write a love letter to the person that they would like to couple up with again, or couple up with in general. And then whoever doesn't have a letter, they will be single, pretty much. All right, so I'm just gonna run through the obvious couples. So the first couple, of course, was Bryce and Trinity. They both wrote letters to each other, so they're going to remain a couple. Bryce did look a little emotional, and I'm just like, is he alright? You cool? You cool, Iliad? Yeah. Alright. Next was Anaya and Casey. Of course, they wrote letters to each other, so they remain a couple as well. I did appreciate the sentiment that they both added into their letters. And I did like how Casey kind of explained his sense of humor to Anaya so that she can better understand him as a person. So I did enjoy, their letters to each other. Next couple was Kata and Zach. Expected. They remain a couple. And then lo and behold, Miss Roster herself got not one, but two letters in her mailbox. Mind you, there's some people that's gonna get zero, but she got two. That's very on brand for Miss Roster. Very on brand for her. Very on brand. So Miss Roster read the letter from the first half of her roster, okay? And it was a nice, sweet little letter. Of course, it was from Caleb or whatever. And then Miss Roster reached back deep inside of that mailbox and pulled out the next letter. And she read that one, and it was nice as well. And that one was from who? I'm gonna have y'all guess first. Okay, Corbin. It was from Corbin. I was like, not surprised, disappointed, but not surprised at all. And she was excited and happy. And I was like, okay, cool. Then Caleb opens up his mailbox, and there was nothing there. And I was like, oh, my heart, my Shayla. He's like a little bitty brother. I feel for him so bad, but honestly, I feel like this experience is needed for him. For like, some character development. Like it's definitely needed. But I definitely felt so bad for him. But he took it like a champ, like a grown man. He was very respectful. He wasn't disrespectful. And he was just supportive of, their connection together, which I was just like, you know what? You're a stand-up guy, Caleb, and you deserve the world. Next, Corbin opens up his mailbox and he has one letter in there. Mind you, it hasn't been discovered if Kenzie wrote a letter for anybody yet. And Corbin is currently coupled up with Melanie. Okay? So keep that in mind. Corbin reads the letter and then it ends with love, Kins. So that makes Kenzie and Corbin a couple again. And then when Corbin and Kenzie walked to their seat, Corbin had the nerve to say, yeah, America can't break this up. Don't tempt me with a good time. Please do not tempt me with a good time. Because the next opportunity that I get to break you two up, I'm taking it. Dare me again, please. Please, I'm begging. Let me do it again. Yes, I will break it up again. If it's up to me and my vote, I will vote for that to happen again. And then next is Disingenuous's turn. And lo and behold, he has two letters in his mailbox. And of course, there are two more ladies left. They had him read the first letter. And of course, it was from Soul. Then they had him read the second letter. And of course, it was from Mel. And honestly, I knew that he chose Mel because he just seemed more giddy while he was reading her letter. And I was just like, it's over with for my bald headed sister. It's over with. It's over with. I mean, maybe you gotta grow it out. Maybe you gotta grow their hair out or something. I don't know. It's over with, boy. Over with. And then they had Soul open up her mailbox and it was empty just like Kayla. And then Ariana was like, so how does that make you feel? And she was just like, it doesn't feel great because, I thought we were really building a nice connection. Da, 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 da. Yeah, Insincere literally led you on. Like he's doing Melanie still. But anywho. Then Melanie opens up her mailbox and of course it's a letter from Sincere. And, she's so happy reading it or whatever. And honestly, I'm not her biggest fan, but I did miss seeing Melanie's smile like this. She's such a beautiful girl. I know she has a good heart deep down inside. I just feel like she may have some insecurities on the inside and may have some trust issues, and she has room to grow. But I do feel like she is deep down inside is a beautiful girl, and I don't know. I just hope that they don't bring no toxic stuff back. Like, healthy love is okay too. Like, I understand we want entertainment, but like not if it's gonna like destroy you on the inside, you know? So of course Sincere and Melanie, they couple up again and they just look so happy. And I was just like, they wasn't lying when they say Melanie is the type that's I don't care how far you ran as long as you come back home type of gal, because that's just what it's giving. And then, of course, Ariana was just like, now Soul and Caleb are a couple as well. So I was like, okay, well, at least they're not going home after being humiliated like that. But yeah, that's the end of the episode. Who did y'all vote for? Honestly, I was irritated. This cast has been trying and testing my patience. But I just went ahead and voted for Soul and Caleb. I didn't care because I feel like they went through a lot and they both were led on by the people that they were pursuing instead of those people just being honest with them. And I feel like they deserved a lot more out of their connections. So I voted for them because why not? Call me empathetic, call me stupid, dumb. If you call me stupid and dumb, I'm just trying to be like the cast. What's up? Okay, but anywho, thank y'all for watching and for tuning into this episode of What's the Reality TV. Um, Again, this Love Island episode just gave me a headache, but at this point, I just expect it with this cast because ooh, they need some help from me or somebody, please. But yeah, if you're new here, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are true here, you should have done all of that already. What are you waiting for? Do you want to be a part of the true crew or no? You just want to be new forever? You just acting brand new. Okay. Do you boo. Do you boo. But anywho, thank y'all for tuning in. I will see y'all on the next episode. I think Wednesday we're gonna get a break. So I'll see y'all soon though. But thank y'all for tuning in. Have a good night or a good day, Lord. Child, I don't know where y'all watching this from. Wherever you at, if it's morning time, have a good day. If it's nighttime, have a good night. I don't care. Just have a good life, okay? And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.